She was chained for the sand Wurm's feast until a human walked. Out of the dust, bad day to be a worm, the crimson sun of Zerium Prime beat down mercilessly on the endless dunes, casting long shadows from the ancient stone pillars that dotted the wasteland. Chained between two of these weathered monuments, Zarka struggled against her bonds, her blue-scaled skin glistening with perspiration. The ornate ceremonial chains forged from the sacred metals of her homeworld bit into Wa, her wrists as she pulled desperately against them. The Velthari had spoken in their guttural tongue before abandoning her here. She understood enough to know her fate. She was to be the monthly offering to the great Wurm of the Sands, the colossal creature that terrorized this region of the planet. Her crime? Refusing to surrender her people's star charts to the Velthari. Syndicate dot above her, the twin moons began their slow ascent into the darkening sky. Soon, the vibrations would begin the telltale tremors that announced the Wurm's approach. Zaraka had heard the stories. The creature could grow to nearly a kilometer in length, with rows of crystalline teeth that could shear through starship hulls. None who faced it survived. A distant rumble shook the sand beneath her feet. Too early, she thought. The moons weren't high enough yet. But as the sound grew closer, she realized it wasn't coming from below. Something was approaching across the desert surface dot through the heat shimmer. A figure emerged from the dunes, bipedal, roughly humanoid. As it drew nearer, Zaraka could make out more details. Pale skin bronzed by the sun, dark hair matted with sweat and sand, and clothing that seemed cobbled together from various species gear. Most remarkably, the figure carried what appeared to be a primitive slug thrower, a kinetic weapon that most civilized species had. Abandoned millennia ago, the stranger approached with casual confidence, his boots crunching on the crystalline sand. When he was close enough for her to see his eyes a striking blue that seemed out of place in this hellscape, he spoke. "Well, this looks like a particularly unpleasant Tuesday," he said in accented galactic standard, his tone surprisingly conversational. "Given the circumstances, you ... You need to leave," Zaraka gasped, her throat dry from hours in the heat. "The Wurm comes with the high moons. It will devour us both." The human, for that's where he had to be. She realized with shock, tilted his head thoughtfully. "Ah, a Wurm! Haven't seen one of those in a while." He set down a battered backpack and began rummaging through it. "Usually bigger than I expect." "How big are we talking here?" "Kilometer long, maybe more," she replied, bewildered by his nonchalant attitude. "Teeth like starship prow cutters. Armor plating that can deflect plasma artillery. Sounds about right." The human produced what looked like a severely modified mining charge from his pack, along with several cylindrical devices she didn't recognize. Name's Marcus, by the way. Marcus Chun 7734, later the Terran Colonial Marine Corps, currently freelancing. The ground began to vibrate in earnest now, a rhythmic pulsing that made the chains rattle against the stone pillars. In the distance, sand geysers erupted as something massive moved beneath the surface, approaching in a direct line toward them. "The chains," Zaraka pleaded. "Please, at least free me so I can die fighting." Marcus glanced at her bonds and snorted. "Ceremonial grade? Give me a second." He drew a small plasma torch from his belt military issue. She noted and made quick work of the ornate links. The chains fell away, leaving angry red marks on her scaled wrists. The vibrations intensified. Now they could see the Wurm's approach, clearly a massive ridge of sand moving toward them at incredible speed, leaving a furrow in its wake like a ship cutting through water. "Right then," Marcus said, shouldering his rifle and activating several of the cylindrical devices. He tossed them in a wide circle around their position. "Fair warning, this might get loud." The sand erupted 50 meters away as the great Wurm breached. Zaraka had never seen anything so terrifyingly magnificent. The creature's head alone was the size of a shuttlecraft, its mouth a cavern lined with rows of diamond-hard teeth. Its hide was indeed armored, covered in overlapping plates that had turned the desert sand to glass where they scraped against it. Ancient scars covered its length, evidence of countless battles with prey, and predator alike, the Wurm's eyeless head swiveled toward them, sensing vibration and heat. It reared back, preparing to strike with the force of a meteor impact. Marcus raised his rifle, laughably small weapon against such a monster, and fired once. The projectile struck the creature's open maw and disappeared. For a moment, nothing happened. The Wurm continued its attack descent, jaws agape. Then the modified mining charge detonated. The explosion wasn't external. It came from within the creature's throat. A brilliant flash followed by a concussive boom that knocked both humanoids flat. The great Wurm's forward momentum carried it past him, but its roar had become a death rattle. It crashed into the sand beyond the pillars, thrashing wildly before going still. Marcus picked himself up, dusted off his jacket, and checked his rifle's action. Timed fuse, he explained to Zarakah's stunned expression. Trick I learned fighting tunnel rats on Kepler 442b. Works on anything that tries to swallow you whole. The cylindrical devices he'd scattered began beeping rapidly. Marcus grabbed his pack and Zarakah's arm. And that's our cue to leave. Directional seismic charges. I may have gotten a bit enthusiastic with the payload. As they ran from the kill, zone explosions erupted in sequence around the Wurm's corpse. Each charge had been precisely placed to collapse the creature's tunnel system, ensuring no other Wurms could use the same approach route. Minutes later, breathing hard atop a distant dune, Zarakah stared at the human who had just killed a legendary monster as casually as swatting an insect. "Why?" she asked. "Why did you help me?" Marcus shrugged, shouldering his pack. "Seemed like the right thing to do. Plus, I was in the neighborhood." He paused, then grinned. "Also heard you might know something about star charts. I've got a ship that needs navigating, and the Velthari have been causing problems for some friends of mine." Zarakah looked back at the smoking crater where the great Wurm had met its end, then at the unassuming human who had made it possible. She'd heard rumors about their species, that they were persistence hunters, that they turned their homeworlds deadly as predators into pets, that they had never met a problem they wouldn't try to solve with controlled explosives. She was beginning to believe the rumors. "The star charts are hidden in my ship's core," she said. "But first, Marcus Chun 7734 of Terra tell me, all humans like you?" Marcus's grin widened as he started walking toward the horizon where his own vessel waited. "Oh no, Captain. I'm one of the reasonable ones." Behind them, the twin moons reached their zenith, casting silver light over a desert that would never again echo with the great Wurm's roar. It had indeed been a bad day to be a worm, but for humanity's newest ally, it was shaping up to be a very good day indeed.